My favorite animal to hunt. Big, mature, dominant whitetail bucks.
Look at the mass on him. He's mature.
You've got a small window of opportunities to make it count. Sometimes you bring them home and sometimes you don't.
Put my top pin right behind his front shoulder, squeeze the release, and the rest was history.
One slip, one mistake from me, and that animal's gone. And once you make that shot, that is the greatest feeling in the world, and that's why I bow hunt.
Holy cow. He is a stud of a buck. He's 5 years old. This is what you hunt for.
They are the smartest, most adaptable, big game animal in North America.
Yes, give me a second.
When you got that big buck coming into you and he's committed, whether it's a decoy or he's coming down the trail through a pinch point, I mean, when you're locked into position getting ready, you know, you have to pay attention to his body language. You have to look at him, watch him, see his movements as he's coming in. You got to know what's in front of him. You got to know what the area is so you can pinpoint exactly when you need to draw your bow and get ready for the shot. And his body language and his surroundings will tell you that. It's critical.
Give me a second. We have been on a dry spell, Barry and I. Ooh, yeah! A big, mature Kansas buck right there. A big 5x5 with two big stickers, one at the back of his right base, one coming out the front of his left. He's got a couple of broke tines. I'm telling you.
You know, I have a lot of people come and ask me at my seminars about the weather, and the weather affects the deer movement quite a bit. I mean, for instance, let's talk about the rut for a second. You know, in the month of November in the Midwest, on the darker, dreary days, maybe a little bit of drizzle, maybe a little bit of fog in November, always seems to me like that I see more big deer, dominant bucks on their feet at that time.
The barometer to me is the most crucial thing I like. I love to see that barometer on the rise. Most of the big deer through the northern woodlands and the southeast, basically all regions, when that barometer and that pressure is rising, the big deer tend to be on their feet a lot more than they do when it's falling.
Another big thing with hunting whitetails is that barometer. If there's a front coming and that barometer is really dropping, it seems like it's going to be grain. You know, I kind of have it's going to be grain that evening. They're heading to fresh picked cornfields. And then high pressure, I'm kind of a green hunter. I think on the high pressure days, sun's up, nice high pressure, it just seems like them deer are going to be on their feet and on a green food source that evening.
It's mist and rain nasty this morning. It's cold blowing out of the north. And got the cameras all covered up. Deer are starting to move in across the CRP field. 3 does are moving in. And see if we can't get it done. We're still out here chasing them. Stick with us. You're watching Dominant Bucks.
You have to be prepared to deal with the weather. You know, not every day is going to be that 40-degree bluebird day with a northwest wind and you go out in your favorite tree and this deer comes out, you know. You're going to have that wind whipping 30 miles an hour out of the south, or you're going to wake up and it's going to be raining and coming out of the northeast, you know, and you don't want to get out of bed and get into the tree. But you need to be ready for those situations. You got to have stands set up, you got to have blinds set up, you got to be ready for anything the weather is going to dish you.
Most hunters realize the influence of weather on animal movement. And for the pros of dominant bucks, weather strategy is a key ingredient to success. Winds can change every hour, and as storms track across the country, barometers drop and deer move. Often inclement weather is a deterrent for hunters, yet top whitetailers relish bad weather, as they know the advantage on mature bucks often lies in the changing conditions. Opportunities at big bucks are hard won, and hunters who pull on rain gear or cold weather coveralls often have the edge over those who wait patiently for the storm to break. Coming up, outfitter Dale Carter hunts early season in Pike County, Illinois. And later in the show, big buck hunter Joel Snow battles a mega winter storm named Hercules.
This portion of Matthew's Dominant Bucks is presented by Heumann Extendable Tree Saw, the shooting lane saw.
I'm Richie Wilhelm. You're watching Dominant Bucks.
Well, here we are, October 1st. We're in South Dakota, and this brings our time to an end.
I'm Stan Potts. You're watching Dominant Bucks.
A big, heavy, mature 9-point with 3 big stickers back down by the base.
Setting up tree stands demands that a hunter consider wind conditions during the course of the season. Since deer often move just before and after a major storm, smart hunters look at the historic wind patterns during these fronts. Every area has a prevailing wind direction. Airport runways are aligned with this wind constant in mind. Since storms are created by low pressure, and low pressure circulates counterclockwise, wind direction changes before the front.
Some people like rainy weather, depending on what region or you're in that you're hunting. In the south, a lot of people say bigger deer move in the rain. You know, depends on what the pressure is. When deer are not pressured a lot, they're just like us as humans. They're not going to be out in that nasty element. They're going to be bedded down, waiting for that front or waiting for that storm to move through and get up right before or right after that and feed. And that's the best time to harvest a dominant buck.
You know, when it comes to the weather and hunting today, in today's world, you have an app on your phone. You can check the wind direction, you can check the weather, you can do it from your tree. I'm sitting in the living room of my house, and we're getting ready to head over to Jacksonville. Barry and I are on a piece of property that I've got leased here in Illinois. And let me show you why I use Scout Look. You just get on there, you hit my locations, there they are, hit the farm, there they are right there. There's all 5 of them. There's the farmhouse right there. There's all 5 of our double sets. And we've got this property right here to hunt. And I want to check like the 185 stand. Let's check the wind. There you go. See, the wind's totally wrong because we're hunting all this property down here. The wind's blowing right down into this big draw, so that's not good.
Pike County, Illinois outfitter Dale Carter is hunting a rare morning stand set in early season. With his outfitting business busy during the rut, Dale's only chance to bow hunt his personal farm is before the rush of bow hunting clients. On the backside of a cool front and thunderstorms, the wind has switched back out of the south and temperatures have warmed slightly. A light breeze is making for perfect hunting conditions.
The wind today, we got this up here, it's coming out of the south, a little bit southeast, and south is right there, so we're hunting the perfect wind here. All the deer will be over this way. They come in here a little later today because they feed out in the bottoms. There's corn out in the bottoms, and they feed out there, and they come in here to bed up in here where we're at, and they cross this ridge and go off into the west here, big bedding area here, so we'll catch them on the way through. There's nothing that compares to the intensity of when you see the buck that you're hunting, okay? And you can't explain it, you have to experience it, especially with the bow. With me, I've seen people that completely fall apart, you know, just get completely nervous and everything when a big buck comes up. The experience that I have is when I see the deer and I go, there's my deer I'm going to shoot, I have a certain amount of anxiety and nervousness at that point, but usually then I get calmed down. But it's just, it's a feeling that you can't explain it, you have to experience it. But it's pretty awesome when you've scouted the deer, you got him in velvet, you got him on your trail cams, and then he shows up and he's walking down the trail by you, and you know this is all gonna go down right now, and it's pretty awesome. 8-pointer. He's marginal, but haven't shot a deer in 2 years. Deer walked right here on top of me. So. Standing right there, he threw my arrow over here. Here's my arrow right here. Blood all the way through, so we got blood right here. So that's not very far, about 40 yards from a tree. He's bleeding, so he jumped the fence here, went off in this thick stuff, so we're gonna take a walk across the fence here. Just get a little more blood over there, and hopefully he'll be right down here. So let's go see if we can find him. He's bleeding out both sides right here, and he only went like another 6-7 yards and went down. Drilled him. No, when you hit them in the right spot, they don't go far. We got a nice 8-pointer here. It's in the mid to high 130s probably. Nice buck. We had a great hunt. Everything went good. We had forecasted in the 40s as temperature, and I was going, we're going to be good with this temperature at 40 degrees, and that didn't happen. The wind went back to had a storm come through, wind went back to the south and warmed it back up, and it was right at 58, 59 this morning, so it had a little bit of a breeze. Worked out great.
Coming up, there's more big buck bow hunting when Matthews Dominant Bucks returns.
This portion of Matthews Dominant Bucks is presented by Polaris, hardest working, smoothest riding.
This Dominant Bucks flashback is presented by Scout Look Weather's free mobile phone apps, enabling you to hunt smart. Watch as Wisconsin buck hunter Richie Wilhelm arrows a great 8-pointer solo cam style during the 2011 Minnesota Rut.
Came through at about 9 o'clock this morning. Was cruising this ridge. It drops down into a big bowl and back up to the other side. There's a big pond right here. Big cornfield out there that's picked. Yes. Gosh, I'm so pumped.
The scent cone wind map works both in the smartphone app as well as on the website. What it does is it gives you a visual wind forecast at every tree stand. And you can click through the hours and see the way that wind is going to shift in relation to the way that your stand is set, which is better than just hearing, well, the wind's from the northwest. What's really cool about this deer log app is that it lets landowners, hunting clubs, or outfitters save all their stands and create a private access code so that anyone visiting your property can log every one of their sightings back to your private account. So it's a way that you can document every sighting, every hunt on your property without ever lifting a finger, and have all that data to use in planning your hunts for the future. Deer log automatically tracks your buck to doe ratio and your buck age structure based on the actual logs that you put in from the field.
Outfitter Joel Snow is a big buck fanatic. Together with pal and head guide Tim Woods, they operate one of the most successful big buck hunting camps in Ohio.
What a cool deer. That's pretty much all you got to say about it.
With daughter Alexis interested in bow hunting, Joel has pushed his hunting ambitions aside to help her experience the excitement of white-tailed deer up close.
I think at a young age you get hooked on bow hunting because you just see so much more about the animal. You see his reactions to your calls. There's nothing like the up close and personalness of bow hunting whitetails. Alexis, now, what have you done? Not bad for your first one with a compound, young lady. Huh?
Yeah.
Good job.
With Alexis now a proud bow hunter and deer season in the full grips of winter, Joel again turns his attention to late season dominant buck hunting.
If you go the extra route and have the standing crops, you can recruit a lot of deer. So there may be a 200 incher or 180 incher here. Yeah, you might not have the best property in the world, but I have properties that I have the strategy of only hunting them in January or December. So that's another thing to keep in mind. You might not have a place that you think you're not quite in the chips, but if you went that little extra effort and have the food, the person, your friend who has the absolute best hunting place, that he might not have got his deer during the rut, and all of a sudden it's you now trying to take a shot at him in the winter.
I haven't hunted hardly at all this year. Just been one of them years, you know, just busy. Winter storm Hercules come through about January 4th and 5th, and I mean it was an Arctic blast with about 35 to 40 below zero temperatures. I'm here on this.
Coming up, Joel Snow capitalizes on a late season storm in pursuit of a great Ohio buck when Matthews' Dominant Bucks returns.
Here we got a Matthews Jewel. She saved all of her own money.
I'm Alexis Snow, and you're watching Dominant Bucks with Stan Potts.
The colder the better. The colder it is, the bigger the bucks is what I always say.
The bottom line is the cooler the temperatures, the better the deer feel, the more they move.
When the weather's kind of nasty and this and that, it seems like the deer move a little bit better, especially the mature bucks. But the bottom line is, right time of year, no matter what the weather's doing, we need to be out there in the tree as much as possible.
The nice thing about our Midwest hunting is we're kind of always right in the jet stream, and we get lots of fronts rolling through, and the front end of a front and the back end of a front really seem to be good things to help keep the deer on their feet and moving a lot. So I believe the weather is the #1 factor in whitetail hunting.
Snug in a ground blind that's hidden in an abandoned building, outfitter Joel Snow watches as several bucks feed into bow range. Mega winter storm Hercules has hammered the area with snow, wind, and freezing temperatures that's put Central Ohio's entire deer herd up and feeding.
If I bought some standing crops or if I planted some turnips, I've already got in the back of my mind where I'm going to try to ambush a big giant at for late season. And late season, it's all about the weather. It's all about the fronts. It's all about the snow. You know, snow is a good thing to you late season hunters, because if the majority of the food and the browse gets covered up by snow, and if you happen to have them little bit of standing crops that you saved up and purchased, you can bet that you're going to be in the chips with standing crops when you got the only food. It was too light inside the building, so we just took a blind and just pushed the blind right up against the window. All right, going to here before it gets dark, check out the air real quick. Oh yeah, baby. I'm gonna say that it's Smoke City. I bought my license yesterday. We can go 150 yards. He is a good one. Ugh. Need to watch out. Late January, we are starting to get some shed bucks, so let's pick them up gingerly. That's not bad for getting a property on Monday. Oh, a 6x6. Heavy horned, big brows. Oh. You're watching Dominant Bucks with Stan Potts, and we're getting it done late season style in Ohio. I love it.
Why not use it? If it's better technology. Scout Look, for instance. It is awesome technology at your fingertips. I use it in all my tree stand locations on a certain area. I can use it and look at the scent cone, and I know exactly which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tree stands that I want to hunt on that given day. Technology, you need to evolve with it. It'll make you a better hunter.